it's Burgess Taylor, and it's Sunday, and this is my week 2 of finding water. It's been a bit of a rough week. Today is the anniversary of 15 years for 9/11. I am in red, white, and blue. I wanted everybody to understand that you can take an artist date anywhere. I am in my backyard. I am sitting at my picnic table. I have my cup of coffee. Unfortunately, my whipped cream has melted, but it was on there. We're going to talk about week 2. Week 2 is uncovering a sense of reality, and I'm going to read the introduction on the first page because I think it's a very powerful message. It's really important. It made me think. She says, as you explore your inner world, your outer world will come more sharply into focus. As you face your imagined barriers, you will encounter real ones as well. This week's work will help you to become more grounded and far-seeing. As you seek your own internal support as well as the support of friends, your creativity will become more steady. As you undertake small actions on your own behalf, watering the garden as it were, larger actions will seem more possible. A sense of your own power will return to you. Wow. So a sense of your own power will return to you. As you undertake small actions, watering the garden, those larger actions actually seem possible. She starts out with claustrophobia. She says that if you believe that your art, whatever kind of art that is, whether it's writing or art or music, or if you believe that it's taking you somewhere, that you're going somewhere with it, then you can endure. You can endure the restlessness, the feelings of the four walls around you. I think sometimes in order to save our creative sanity, we need to get out of those four walls. Like, I'm out here and it's hot, so this is gonna come off for now because it's warm. She said then you can endure that. You bring back a sense of adventure when you are excited about the page, or excited about that piece you're composing, or excited about the piece you're singing. You are more likely to turn to the page, to turn to that piece of music, to turn to that canvas when you believe that your art is taking you somewhere. She says that we waste a lot of hours on things that are out of our control, and that we need to stay on track, that not working, not creating makes us prickly. She says that, and it does, it makes me grumpy. She also says that drama is contagious, and that I firmly believe. Oh, now it's cooling off. Oh, thank you. So, after claustrophobia, the divining rod for that is to name 1 through 10 things that you appreciate that are in your life, that are worth noticing and appreciating. Mine would be my grandson's laughter. I love it when he giggles. My husband's pretty blue eyes. I love the way he looks at me. After 4 years of marriage, 5 years of being together, he still looks at me that way. But I think if you take time to notice the small things, like this past week, I have purple roses in the front of my house, in front of our porch. We have a little rose bed, a little rose garden. And the purple one had the most beautiful full blossom. She's just gorgeous. And this may be the last blooms before fall really kicks in. We may get one more set, but I'm not sure if the purple one will bloom. It doesn't usually get as many blooms as the blush rose or the yellow rose. Different things. A moonlit sky, the storm. The storm was just gorgeous the other day. I pretty much have had enough rain, and we had enough storms, but I love a storm. I love a storm. I get a lot of writing, a lot of creative things done when it's raining. I love the sound of rain. So I listed my 10 things. The next thing is inhabiting the present. And inhabiting the present, she gives a lot of different things. She says, in order to function well as an artist, I must love the present. I must function in the present, savoring the sweet that is to be found there. She talks about she has to put a certain place behind her and live on the other coast that she's in now, and not live back in the past, that she has to be able to look out of her window and cherish the current view. Has to take in the little things like walking the dog and different things like that. She says that the present is complicated enough, putting aside the past. She's able to turn to what she's doing right now and enjoy it So with that divining rod, she says that you need to fall in love with yourself. And one of the best ways to do that is to view yourself as a character. Now you would think because I am a writer, I would be able to turn myself into a character without any problem. She says to take pen in hand, set aside about half an hour's writing time, and write about yourself in the third person. She says do not write, I am 56 years old and I live in New York. Instead write, she or he is 56 years old and lives in New York. Sketching your life and your surroundings exactly as they are right now. Talk about what you love, what you hate. Talk about what you want more of, what you want less of. Place yourself smack in the middle of life and describe that life in succulent detail. She lives in a spacious apartment high above the city, that kind of thing. Well, I tried this exercise, and I'm going to tell you what, this was probably the hardest exercise other than not reading when I did the Artist Way that I have ever done. I got a little bit, but once I had to start talking about myself in the third person, it was very hard. So I started out with the rain pelts the windows as she writes. She's a writer, an artist, a blogger, a reader, a creative person. Her creative space is filled with color from the purple walls to the rainbow of books that line the bookshelves. As she looks out the window, you can see by the expression on her face that she is deep in thought. She loves the sound of the rain. It soothes her restless, anxious mind. She's talented, but she doesn't see it. She's humble. I don't know. She doubts herself. She lets the doubt eat at her some days, but she keeps on. She doesn't give up. She perseveres, resisting the urge to give up, even on the days when it's a really bad day and she's all but given up. It is her resilience that allows her to stay strong. And then I stopped because I felt like a dork and I couldn't continue because I don't think I'm humble. I just think that I have really good days and some bad days and some really bad days. And some days I think my talent's mediocre, and then some days I think my talent's pretty decent, and then some days I think my talent's actually good. And in 2 weeks' time, it's not going to change my opinion of myself, even though I've done the Artist Way and I don't have as much self-doubt as I once did. I write because I love it, because it's what I do, and I hope to publish one day, but I don't know. I don't want to be one of those self-published authors that gets their book on Amazon and I can only ever sell it for 99 cents because nobody's ever really going to read it for more than 99 cents. I don't know. That's being honest. So the next part is staying in training. She compares artists to athletes. She says that you have to train yourself. That it's all too easy to allow the shape of your career or what you're doing to be dictated by others. You don't need to wait to be chosen. That you need to choose. That you need to consciously make choices to keep doing what you're doing regardless of what others. Like, there are always going to be critics out there. She says, I must take care to be well-rounded. I must stock up my talents and take time and care to try to use them fully. And she says that for the divining rod, it's all too easy for an artist to bewail. The odds are stacked against us. It's harder but necessary to improve those odds by taking small actions on our own behalf. This is the power of perseverance, what I call laying track. No matter how trapped we may feel by large cultural cross currents, there is always some small something that we can do in favor of our artists. Take pen in hand, number from 1 to 5, and list 5 small actions you could take on your own behalf. Any small action will suffice. For example, she says in preparation for her trip to France that she's going to work with French tapes for 1 hour daily, buy a small French-English dictionary. I have more than one artistic endeavor. Mine would be to write daily, whether it's actually in my novel or about my novel, for my head to stay in the novel. Create art daily, because some type of art, creating art, journaling, helps me relax, helps me focus. More small steps would be reading, taking the time to read something nonfiction and something fiction every day, even if it's only for 15 minutes each, to keep my head in the moment and to take time for the little things. Sometimes you get distracted and you can't see the forest for the trees. Perfectionism, my favorite one. This is the Artist Way too. She says she recently threw away 200 pages of work, judging it simply not good enough. She says perhaps with more patience the work could have been improved. Perhaps with more self-forgiveness the work could have been seen as promising, but perfectionism is not patient. Part of the video went out of focus, so I'm going to get back to the perfectionism part, and then I'm going to do the check-in, and I'm going to make this a little bit quicker than the other one was. Perfectionism. We've been talking about that a lot lately in the Decorated Page and in Destination Me and in some of the other groups it's been mentioned. And to tell you the truth, I think we all suffer from that a bit when we make mistakes with our art, when our first draft or our editing or anything is not going well, or we feel like it's a mistake. We second guess ourselves. We second guess ourselves with other things as well. That's a bad thing. Normally, when you take a test, they tell you not to second guess yourself, to go with your first answer. Don't change that answer. And I think every time I've done that, I've been wrong. Every time I went back and changed an answer, I was wrong. I've tried to stop second guessing myself. It's really hard. I have been showing more of my mistakes with my journals. I admitted that I have been depressed and have been blocked and haven't been writing, that I got a little bit stressed out and overwhelmed, and that happens. I think we all have a little bit of insecurity about something or another. We can be as secure in ourselves as we want to be, but we do, I think for the most part, many of us do have at least some kind of insecurity or other. When it comes to our creativity, whether we're writers or artists or musicians, we tend to have more of that perfectionism, more of that fear that what we're doing isn't good enough or that it isn't right. And that makes it very difficult. When I was going through the Artist Way, I went through a lot of that. And now, even now, so I have this one journal. I was using it for morning pages. I decided I didn't really like it. I started another one. Just didn't really like the paper in that one. I went to a different one. So this past week, I have written morning pages or evening pages, I think 5.5 times actually. I wrote about a page's worth, got distracted by things happening, going on, and then went on to something else because I got busy. I'm not taking enough time to do certain things, or I'm letting distractions happen. That's not a good thing. So I have decided to change things up a little bit so that I can quit with the perfectionism, or at least stop it in its tracks. She talks about laying track and doing the next right thing, no matter how small or how tiny it is. Watering the garden, so to speak. The little tiny things are what makes your garden grow. So it's from the sunshine to the water to taking care of it, weeding it. There are a lot of things that come into play with your creativity, with your art, and you have to take time to nurture yourself, your artist, your creativity. I am doing a lot of creative things, but I'm not taking enough time to actually nourish my artist, I think. Some of those things I am doing make me feel a lot better, but I realize that the walking and the artist date are just as important as me actually doing these creative projects, because I am taking that few moments, whether it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes to walk, to a 30-minute to an hour artist date, to getting outside and getting some sunshine, and walking around the yard, avoiding ant beds, looking at my roses, building a tent with my grandson. I need to remember those small moments. I need to. They're very important. And that's what I've learned this week. I haven't had any problems with finding water. I have had problems. She says that drama is contagious, and she is absolutely right. Drama is contagious, and I do not like drama. I tend to avoid drama like the plague. But sometimes you can't help things, but I have learned the hard way that sometimes the best thing you can do when it comes to drama is to just walk away. Be the better person and just walk away. And here come my neighbors. So we're gonna walk. I need to walk anyway. When it comes to drama with your art, with your creativity, drama can come from all kinds of places. It can come from a lack of balance. It can come from many places. It doesn't have to be one specific thing. I'm gonna show you the purple rose. Isn't she gorgeous? So now you see my purple rose. My wild roses are trying to take over my other roses. It's really aggravating me, and I need to weed eat my garden. But otherwise, things are really good. I need to pay more attention and not be so afraid of things not being perfect, and I need to take more time for myself and do some of the things that nurture me, take better care of myself, remembering to eat lunch. Sometimes I get really busy and I forget. Thank you for watching, y'all. Have a good one. I hope you enjoy and that you have a good Sunday afternoon. I will see you again tomorrow for a coffee chat. Bye.